In Inside, we take a closer look at the Chinese community here in the United States. There are about 3.8 million people, or a little more than 1% of the country's population. That's according to the latest estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau. And among the Asian population in the U.S., those of Chinese origin make up the biggest group at about 24%. Chinese immigrants first came to the United States in the mid-1800s in search of a better life. But with success also came mistreatment, which eventually led to laws discriminating against all Chinese. And the history of Chinese Americans has been largely neglected in American schools. But legislation in California is going to change that. CCTV's Mei Li has insight.
The 1849 gold rush in California ignited dreams of newfound fortune, attracting would-be miners from around the world, including China. The search for gold, as well as the dramatic increase in demand for laborers, triggered a surge in Chinese immigrants to California. The biggest project of that era, the Transcontinental Railroad, which connected the western and eastern halves of the U.S.
In 1852, it's
really jumped.
18,000. In the total of 20 years, it's estimated 108,000 Chinese.
Peter Blodgett is the curator of Western American history at the Huntington Library in San Marino, California. This 19-page handwritten document, requested by the soon-to-be minister to China, John Ross Brown, recorded Chinese immigrant numbers, employment, and it even raises the issues of racist actions by white Americans.
They find the presence of Chinese, as the numbers grow, incredibly offensive. And the Americans find this an unprecedented encounter with what we would call today the other.
The author of the document tried to defend Chinese immigrants. In one passage, he writes, all laws discriminating against the Chinese should be repealed, and they should be protected in their persons and property. But efforts to treat Chinese immigrants fairly didn't go very far. And in 1882, the Chinese Exclusion Act was adopted. This was the first U.S. law that forbid a specific ethnic group from immigrating to and becoming citizens here. This after more than 11,000 Chinese laborers helped to build the Transcontinental Railroad, of which 1,000 lost their lives. The Chinese Exclusion Act was repealed in 1943 and is part of the overall history of Chinese immigrants that has never been taught beyond a brief mention to American students.
So tomorrow, the speaker's putting on...
But that's about to change in California schools starting next year, thanks to Assemblyman Ed Chow. Governor Jerry Brown recently signed Chow's bill that will ensure students will be taught Chinese American history properly.
It is a relief that their hardships are being recognized, and their work and their tribulations did not go unnoticed. And I think that sense of recognition is particularly gratifying to me.
Chinese American college students who distinctly remember hasty lessons on the immigrant experience in middle and high school welcome the new legislation.
I think people just think that we just come from like China, and then we kind of settle here and just kind of take up space or something like that. They don't realize that we also have a part in American history also.
Like, of course, when I talk to my friends, they don't know anything about history, about Asian American history, so it puts a lot of things in perspective and how we got here and what the sacrifices that our ancestors made.
It's a lesson about immigrants that's still being learned and sometimes refuted to this very day. But maybe, just maybe, education will be the key to better understanding and acceptance. Mei Li, CCTV, Los Angeles.